at that moment, I felt my purpose coming at me like a rhino, and it was death. And I was like, oh my God, no, 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 no. That, I resisted with every ounce of my soul. I just didn't want it to be death, but it was so powerful that I had no option but just to kind of surrender into it, and it kind of washed over me. And I suddenly realized in that moment that my purpose had just deepened.
Mm.
And death was something I needed to explore, and that I should really take that very seriously. And I went on to become an end of life guide or a death doula. Actually, the terminology as a soul midwife was the particular training I did. But it also gave me this idea that purpose is intertwined with death. Because in that moment of me discovering I should work in death was also a moment where my purpose deepened. So both of those things happened at the same time, which I thought was really interesting. That was the beginning of me becoming a doula, but also sort of exploring this concept of death and purpose being part of the same spectrum. My favorite quote of all, I think, is from Carl Jung. And his quote really fuels everything I'm doing today. And his quote is, where your fear is, there is your task.
Mm.
And it's very simple, but it's kind of that thing of like, every time you're scared of something, rather than run away from it or try and fight it, go into it.
Mm.
Don't run away from it. Actually, that's where we should be headed. Because what tends to happen is we're so scared of things, we run away from trying things, or we fight whatever it is that we're scared of. Often, if you just step into it with a little bit of bravery, you discover it's not what you think it is. And actually, there's real reward there that is very surprising. You don't know what it's going to be, but if you step into that fear, what I've experienced is you get rewarded in the most unexpected and miraculous ways.
And there's something about facing the extent of it in the eye that will allow us to actually change the way we live and change our society and step out of that vicious cycle of a kind of uncaring society that feels precarious. To change that, we need to all be so linked to our power and our purpose and our sense of why we're here, and stepping up and out of our safety zone and out of watching Netflix and out of, doing the things that feel comfortable and safe in order to change our society so that it doesn't feel so precarious for the next generation. But it's hard work. It's like the times are calling us to be so incredibly brave that I've almost got to the point of it's only going to be facing death in the eye that's going to allow us to do it. What else is going to shake us out of our complacency?
No, I totally agree. And there's a really lovely Chinese proverb that says it's an honor to live in troubled times. And I take a lot of comfort from this saying, because essentially troubled times forces people to step out of their comfort zones and do something about the trouble. And what happens with that is a really beautiful thing, which is people step out of their bubbles, which often are the cages that keep people small and keep people from discovering who they really are. But when things become a bit dramatic and existential, as they are now, it forces the entrepreneurial spirit in people to emerge, right? And to start to blossom. And then you see generations of people waking up and like realizing that no one else is going to do anything about this. Maybe I need to do something.